Let's take a look at the Title III Part A Supplement Not Supplant worksheet as it relates to professional development activities. You'll see contained on the Guidance tab of the worksheet is statutory information, which essentially states that Title III Part A funds must be used to supplement and not supplant the level of federal, state, and local public funds that, in the absence of such availability, would have been expended for programs for limited English proficient children and immigrant children and youth, and in no case to supplant such federal, state, and local public funds. In the Resources section, you'll find the English Learner Portal Frequently Asked Questions link, the Funding Guidebook link, a link to the Supplement Not Supplant Handbook, a link to the Title III Part A Programmatic Information webpage, and a link to the Financial Accountability System Resource Guide. On the Required Professional Development tab, you will find here a place for the school system to input their name, their county district number. You'll find an overview of required trainings. And so in this section also, you'll see a place for the professional development activity to be inputted into these fields. Also, the school system will need to indicate the appropriate class object code, the estimated amount to be spent on the activity, and the funding source being utilized. So the school system would begin by inputting their name. So this would be Learning a Lot ISD, county district number. And then here is where they would simply click on the row and input the trainings, the required trainings that they are planning on taking part of. So in this case, we could say English language proficiency standards, which is also called ELPS acronym. The class object codes that are recommended, there's 6200, which was professional and contracted services. There's 6300, which is supplies and materials. And then there's 6400, which is other operating costs. In this case, we'll select 6200 professional and contracted services. We'll say that 2500 is being spent. And then the funding source, there's a choice of state, local, or federal. Be selecting state. So any additional trainings, activities that are planned, the school system would simply click on the row, add that training, add the class object code, the estimated amount, and then the funding source. You'll see when I scroll down that here there will be a total amount indicated for all the activities that are inputted into the worksheet. So the school system doesn't have to worry about creating that total. There is a formula in place there that will do that for you. Let's look at the Supplemental Professional Development tab. This one is slightly different. You'll see over here statutory information. And then here you'll see a list of potential supplemental professional development activities that the school system might be taking part in. Over here, you'll see that there's also a reference to the ESSA Consolidated Federal Grant Application, the PS 3106 schedule, specifically Part C, the section Part C on the application, which deals with professional development. Now, on the application, there are these choices in place. So whatever the school system indicates on the PS 3106, that needs to be mirrored here on this worksheet. So for example, if on the PS 3106, the school system selects instructional strategies for English learners, they would also want to select that on this worksheet. So there's alignment between the worksheet and that schedule on the application. In addition to that, you would interact with these fields in the exact same way as on the required tab. You simply click on the row, you type in the professional development activity that the school system will be taking part in. You select the appropriate class object code, and the choices are the same there in terms of the class object codes. You would indicate the estimated amount to be spent and then the funding source. And one difference here is that there's the option of Title 3 Part A because this is the supplemental tab on the worksheet. As we move to the example tab, you'll see here a completed worksheet. This happens to be an example of the required tab on the worksheet, but you would interact with these in the exact same way, whether it's the required tab or supplemental. You would simply enter in the professional development activities that are planned. In addition to that, the class object codes, the estimated amounts, and then the funding source.